All right, perfect. We have people joining in the Zoom chat, and we are going to go live on our social media in just a minute.
Thank you, Ramin. And Ramin, if you can let me know once we are live, that would make it easier for me.
Yes, Roger, we are live. You're on mute.
Okay, now. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the webinar, everyone. My name is Raja Iqbal. I am one of the lead instructors at Data Science Dojo. What we are going to do today is we'll go over some of the large language model offerings that we have. The offerings actually include our in-person bootcamp, a 5-day, 40-hour bootcamp. And in addition to that, we have some online offerings that are there. Consider them to be shorter versions of the same bootcamp. I will go over those one by one in a moment. So I think if you are joining here, most likely, since we don't run any ads, most likely you already know who we are. But for those of you who may not be aware, we have been around for quite some time. We are one of the oldest and one of the most recognized company in this bootcamp and data science and machine learning and now large language models bootcamp space. As a matter of fact, we are the only bootcamp in the world right now that offers a large language models bootcamp. So we have 11,000 plus graduates and more than 3,000 companies that we have trained globally. And pretty much any country on the planet, it has been someone from every country has been represented in one of our trainings. So where did this bootcamp actually? How did this the genesis of the bootcamp? So the way this bootcamp started was actually due to the fact that the services side of our business, it has been helping a lot of the service side of our business has been helping a lot of customers, enterprise customers, build their LLM applications, and as a result of that, we were just a minute. Ramin, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, Roger, your screen is visible.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so we have been building these solutions for our enterprise customers, and what we realized is that while Bard and ChatGPT and Anthropic make the task of building these solutions or building a chatbot quite easy. But when you go to enterprise setting, there are a lot of challenges. Let's talk about the regulatory challenges. Let's talk about the IP and proprietary data type challenges. There are a lot of challenges that and data governance for that matter, right? So there are a lot of challenges that go beyond just that basic chat GPT or Bard like experience. There are a lot of practical constraints you may or may not realize, but the token consumption and the usage and the cost, these tools are incredibly expensive. And when you start adopting these tools at enterprise scale, there are a lot of architectural considerations that you have to worry about. Then coming up with the right prompts, right prompt structure. How do you evaluate? How do you create your evaluation data sets? Whether you use an open source or closed source model. How do you control hallucination? How do you keep the knowledge updated? How do you fine tune a model? When to fine tune a model? When to use retrieval augmented generation? Whether to use only vector store or use keyword based or lexical search store or use a hybrid search. So all those considerations for any enterprise application, they are actually they are actually very difficult trade-offs to make. And what we do in this bootcamp, the 40-hour version of the training, is that we cover all of these topics end to end. So I will go over these topics. I'll give you a very high-level idea of the curriculum, and then happy to take any questions. And meanwhile, if there are any questions, I will keep looking at my Q&A here. On those who are joining by Zoom, I will keep looking at the Q&A. But for those of you who are joining through any of the social media channels, please type in your question there, and the team is going to route the questions to me. So let's start with our large language models bootcamp. The bootcamp itself is, as I said, there is the in-person experience and there is an instructor-led online experience. So first, I will talk about the general curriculum, regardless, and then we'll start with going, what is the online version, what is the in-person version. So in the in-person version of the bootcamp, we have it's a 40-hour training. You come in and you start your day on a Monday at 8 a.m. and you finish your day on a Friday at 5 p.m. We take care of everything for you, right? So we have this wherever you come in, we take care of pretty much like everything, your food, any software, any coffee, beverages, sandboxes, any tools that you need, any cloud computing costs, pretty much everything that you would need. It's basically you just need a browser-enabled computer, and that's it. You just bring your laptop, and that's it. So it's a very comprehensive curriculum. We have designed the curriculum. We are constantly reviewing the curriculum with the help of our partners that you will see shortly. It is, I have to say, it is the only curriculum. So, there's not much competition out there. But despite that, I actually sincerely feel, honestly feel that this is one of the most comprehensive curriculums. Anything that we think and we bump into while we build solutions for our customers, we actually come back and incorporate that in our curriculum. And I will show you what I mean shortly. So for 4 days, you're going to learn, implement. And on the 5th day, you are going to be building an actual LLM application. And then basically a working prototype of an LLM application. As I said, when you register for the bootcamp, you are eligible for $500 credit for all software and cloud services needs. Thanks to our partners, so you can see some of the partners. I don't think all the partners are here, but we have a few partners who are we are discussing, and we should see more partners. And I will mention to you how these partners come into play, what are they doing, and for instance, why Runpod? What do they do, right? So why MongoDB? How are they related to large language model space, and so on. So the bootcamp, the fees, the registration fee covers all the token consumptions that you would, all the token consumption costs, all the GPU cloud usage, and all the infrastructure, and plus, as I said, hosting you your breakfast, lunch, dinner, your everything that you would need during that week. We also actually take pride in the fact that we have some of the industry leaders who would come in and they will give talks from real case studies from big companies. We have people coming from Stripe, the payment processing company, MongoDB. We have had guest talks from there. We have Symbol AI. They have had guest talks. We have had guest talks from there. Vectera came in for a guest talk, and I can keep going. But the idea is that we have this firm conviction that if you want to learn, a real world application is much more than just technology. You have to understand how software or how LLM application is built in real life. So to that end, we bring in people, real case studies from big companies. we will talk about all the nuances of not just the engineering issues, but also the cultural challenges and adoption, etc. Hands-on exercises are there for all topics wherever it is relevant. I will show you our infrastructure. And as I said earlier as well, you will be building an LLM application at the end of the bootcamp. And I think one slide that we should have added is that you will be getting, once you finish the training, you will be getting a verified certificate from the University of New Mexico Continuing Education. They are our academic partners, so it's once again part of the program. You register, you finish the training, you get a certificate, and the certificate is recorded in their registrar's office. You can request a transcript at the end of the, once it is recorded, of course, a few days or weeks after the training. I don't know exactly how many, but I mean, maybe 1 to 2 weeks after the training. Let me go ahead and get started, right? So what I'm going to do here is, I will give you an idea, right? So of the ecosystem, this entire LLM application ecosystem. So at the core of this entire ecosystem, the architecture, we have these things, what we call the LLM large language models. I mean, call them the foundation models. And OpenAI has their foundation model. Google has their foundation model. Anthropic is there. Then there are other proprietary models. There is open source models like Mixtral, Llama 2 series. But these models alone are not enough to build an application. What you need to have is you need to have a vector database along with it. And then this ecosystem is once again a giant ecosystem. Even some of the traditional relational database players or NoSQL database players, they are also venturing into the vector database market. For instance, you saw MongoDB being our partner for the delivery of the bootcamp, because MongoDB has also added the vector functionality. Then Postgres has added vector functionality. Pretty much all the mainstream databases are actually adding functionality for vector search. And we get into the vector database business, how you index, how you retrieve, how you store vectors, and all the nuances. Along with also semantic caching. We also talk about in detail what is semantic caching and how would you actually build a semantic cache, right? So we talk about vectors. We talk about in detail about embeddings. Some models are both encoder-decoder models. Some are encoder-only models. So we will get into the business of embeddings in detail. And then we have different instructors. We are actually very excited. We have Luis Serrano from Cohere. He is one of the best people to teach embeddings. And then he's the one who actually leads the session on embeddings. Then on vector databases, it is a few different people. We have in the past, I mean, I've taught it. Sanjay has taught it. Then Sam Party, he has taught this. And Sam Party from Redis. So we have different people who have been teaching different components. Now, there is this component of logging and LLM ops and guardrails. How do you make sure that when a prompt is given, a prompt that is unreasonable, a prompt that does not comply with your prompt policy, right? So let's say you have an application internally deployed in your enterprise. You do not want people to query certain things. Maybe no one can ask for a phone number. No one can ask for any politically incorrect thing. So the idea of putting guardrails around preventing any toxic prompts, any toxic responses. How do you actually measure token consumption? How do you log? How do you deploy a model? All of that. So we talk about all of that. In addition to that, we talk about frameworks that make building RAG applications easier. Things like LangChain. We actually spend quite a bit of time on LangChain. We cover LangChain in a lot of depth. Basically, I cannot. I can spend maybe 30 minutes just on this slide. The idea is that we are not just a basic prompt engineering course. We are in the business of teaching people, enabling people to teach them pretty much the entire breadth or entire spectrum of possible tools and technologies, and give everyone some practical experience so they can be on their own in building the applications after the training. So let me go over and give you an overview of the curriculum. I'm going to, instead of showing you this on a slide, I'm going to maybe I can flash some of the slides and then I can go to the learning platform. So very often the question is, what are the prerequisites? So the prerequisite here is Python programming. And even if you don't know Python programming, we have some tutorials that we can give you, and then we can get you up to speed on Python programming. Then, what is the technology stack we use? We use OpenAI and Hugging Face and Llama 2 and Symbol AI. We recently added this in our last bootcamp. It's a very special purpose conversational AI model that we talk about, call them domain-specific models. So we talk about general purpose models like OpenAI GPT series or Llama 2 series, and then we also talk about domain-specific models. Then in vector databases, we have MongoDB, Vectera, and we use Chroma in some exercises and Redis mainly. And then all of these, I mean, think of this as vector databases and NLM cache, and then also retrieval augmented generation in that space. This is our technology stack. Then we have an orchestration, we have LangChain, Llama Index. And then in terms of deployment and hosting and compute, YLabs is our partner, RunPod is a partner, ZenML is a partner. So we talk about how to do logging, how to actually fine-tune the models in a GPU cloud and all of that, and deploying the model as a web app. In our exercises, we teach people how to actually deploy this app in Streamlit. So we start with the fundamentals. We make sure that everyone understands the historical evolution of embeddings. We don't. I'm an educator at heart. I mean, I love teaching, and one of the things that one of the philosophies and one of the, I would say, cornerstone of our teaching philosophy is that we have to set the context instead of directly going to transformers. Hey, suddenly, I mean, what are transformers? What is attention mechanism? We actually start with one-hot encoding. Of course, some people who are already familiar, right? So they have to bear with us. But we start with one-hot encoding. We explain to people, well, one-hot encoding was there, then count-based was there, then there was this TF-IDF-based approaches, then there was something called BERT. And then how did all of this evolve? And until we landed in this transformer-based models era. So setting the foundations, and along the way, for everything, some of the exercises are there in class, and some of them are going to be actually right there in the learning platform. You go and click, open up, and then practice. So we will talk about a lot of this in a lot of detail. As I mentioned, all of this, we will also be talking about vector databases. And vector databases, we'll talk about all the indexing approaches and not just talk about them, practical exercises in Python, how to create this different vector databases, or to create a vector store using some of these indexing strategies. Then we will also be talking about the retrieval strategies and all the optimization, and there are some practical exercises. Similarly, semantic search. We talk about semantic search, and then how do you build a semantic search engine using a vector database. We talk about prompt engineering in quite a bit of detail. we have interesting exercises. I will show you. Of course, I cannot show you every single thing that we have, and given the time that we have, but I will show you some examples of how we'll do it in practice. We spend almost a whole day on LangChain. We talk about pretty much all the topics that are relevant in the context of LangChain. About 6 to 8 hours are spent just on LangChain. So all the document loaders, retrievers, chains and memory, and so on, everything, how do you create agents? How do you create a search agent? How do you create a Wikipedia agent? So we talk about all of that in quite a lot of detail. Let me see. There is, I mentioned agents as well. Then we also talk about observability and large language model ops. Well, what is that? You have to monitor your model. You have to be able to, make sure that your model, the prompts are not toxic. The prompts, the responses are not toxic. Are there any guardrails around your model or not? So we spend quite a bit of time on this as well. We also talk about fine-tuning. We start with fine-tuning. We talk about quantization. We talk about LoRa, low-rank adaptation. We talk about QLoRa, which is quantized and low-rank adaptation-based models. And we we have a practical exercise where we teach people how to fine-tune a Llama 2 model which has Llama 2 7 billion parameters and 4-bit quantized model. And we run some evaluation exercises, compare the baseline model, baseline Llama 2 model with the fine-tuned model, and see what is the relative trade-off between fine-tuning and an unfine-tuned model and fine-tuned model. And then when we build some RAG applications, we have this practical experience when to use RAG versus when to use fine-tuning. And then we actually build an actual application. You can see the list of speakers. We have one of the best speakers out there in industry. All of these people are actually working on building these things, right? So whatever they teach, they have practical experience with what they're teaching. It's not really, I know this stuff. I read this paper. I watched this YouTube tutorial and I attended this Coursera course. No, these people are practitioners. Some of the most I would say most experienced people out there in the respective space. So that actually makes it a lot of fun. Let me, before I will go to our learning platform. I will show you how the entire learning platform is set up. You can see that we have our partners, some of the leading people in industry. This is going to be the next cohort, is going to be our 5th cohort. But we are already, as I said, we are the only company, but we are very much respected. Any company that you can see that all of these companies, or rather some of the companies have attended. We have the logos here, and you can see that we are, already we are getting a lot of traction from industry. Okay, so the next bootcamp out there is, let me see, the next bootcamp is on April 23rd. You can go to the website. Maybe the link has already been posted, but you can see that the next bootcamp is planned for April 22nd, not 23rd, April 22nd to 26th. And then let me actually go first and show you our learning platform. And then I will go into the logistics of a few other things. So if you look at this, all the topics that I mentioned, evolution of text embeddings and attention mechanism and transformers and vector databases and semantic search and prompt engineering and fine-tuning, you can see all of this. Nebula is a domain-specific conversational model. LangChain is there. So the way all of this works is, let's say we discussed attention mechanism. Now, once the theoretical discussion is done, we ask people to go and click on, well, one of these labs. And if you can see, what we have done here is 40 hours is simply not enough to cover so much content. And any time spent in installing the packages, any time spent in figuring out dependencies, hey, my Mac does not have this library, what should I do? We have completely eliminated that kind of um, barrier. And what happens is we give people access to these our uh, um, Jupyter notebooks in the cloud. And what people do is everyone gets, you see that this is me here, my account. So everyone gets a dedicated space. When you click on this, a pod comes up, you finish your work, you store the work, and when you come back, you still have this space for you. So this compute it comes with the registration fee. That's, of course, a substantial expense on our side. But what we want it to be a very high quality premium experience. So we'll give you the API keys during the bootcamp. We give you these sandboxes for 1 year until after the training. So you come in, you join the training, and then you have access to this. So anytime when you have to practice, you do not have to worry about, hey, I mean, what should I do? I don't have this piece of code running. I don't have a laptop. So it actually reduces the barrier to learning. A lot of times the barrier is, well, I want to learn, but I don't know. I'm stuck with this installation. So we have removed some of those infrastructure or inertia that sometimes people would have because I don't have the right tools in place. We have other tools like this. If you look at this is our prompt engineering sandbox. If I go here, I'm just picking up a random prompt here. I'm going to copy and paste this, right? So now assume the role of social media marketer for fashion brand, develop a concise and engaging caption for an upcoming product launch on Instagram. I'm going to go and run this. And now we will teach you pretty much all the nuances of prompt engineering. And then instead of just hand waving, hey, this is, you must have a role defined, you must have your instructions have to be clear, and then you have to persuade and all of that. No, I mean, it's not going to be purely a talk. We'll talk and you will come and you're going to practice here. You can see that number of tokens, temperature, you can change the temperature, top P, etc. And then you observe the impact of whatever is happening firsthand, right in your web browser. So no software to install at all. I can keep going here. We have a lot more actually to talk about. I think one thing that I should mention is when we let's say not everything is going to be here. We also have other tools in place when we do the Llama 2 fine-tuning exercise. We ask you to, we give you GPU cloud, your own dedicated GPU cloud credits. You get credit for fine-tuning the Llama 2 model. You fine-tune, you rerun, and just make sure that you understand the underpinnings of everything that is going on. Okay. So we have been asked quite a lot. I cannot attend the in-person training, maybe because of budgets, maybe because of the time commitment, maybe because of travel, and so on. So what we have done is we have announced smaller chunks of this entire bootcamp. So think about this bootcamp being a 40-hour training. So we have broken this down into 6 or 7 trainings. And what we will do is you can come in and so you can attend these trainings in an instructor-led online fashion. So for instance, large language models for everyone. This is the very bare bones very high-level, non-technical or maybe semi-technical introduction to large language models, which is about the first day of our training. We talk about that. Then prompt engineering, well, the name says it all, what this is going to be about. Then there is a training on fine-tuning. There is a training on LangChain. So what we have done is we have introduced these shorter duration trainings that are going to be instructor-led live trainings with all the tools that I showed you just now, except that you don't have to travel physically. And then also, I mean, what if you don't want to attend the entire bootcamp? You're only interested in LangChain, or you're only interested in prompt engineering training. And what we will do is we will offer these as smaller instructor-led training, still the same quality, still the same learning, but except that you're not face-to-face in the same room. It is going to be it is going to be live, instructor-led. What else? Let me actually go and see if I missed anything. I think that's pretty much it from the presentation side. I'm happy to take any questions. Okay, so there is this question. Hi, Raja and team. Please correct me. I will try to pronounce the name as to the best of my ability. Karvendan BR from India. Hi, Raja and team. I'm a data engineer with good experience with Python and data science. I don't have any experience in AI. Can I still join the training? Yes, absolutely. I've been teaching machine learning for a long time, and the funny thing is, I have stated this publicly on social media a while back. I mean, check out my LinkedIn post, right? So that 95% of LLM application development is still good old software engineering and data engineering, because the AI part, yes, I mean, and for the most part, any engineer can easily wrap their head around it. So I absolutely have no doubt. If you already are a data engineer, you will actually see that this is mostly data engineering. Yes, you need to understand transformers a little bit. You need to understand, maybe some attention mechanism, a bit of neural networks, and we'll do that for you, right? You do not need to have any background in traditional ML or AI. Is there a certification available at the end? Yes, we have a certification that is available from one of the oldest universities in the United States, University of New Mexico. We are partnering with the University of New Mexico Continuing Education, and we are going to, we'll be giving you handing you the certificate, and you can basically, it's a verifiable certificate. It's if you are in some professional body that requires you to actually continuously get trained, since it is an accredited university, you can actually use those CEUs toward some kind of professional credit as well. And you can actually request a transcript, even though this is more of a, completion, right? So you can still request a transcript of attendance from the University of New Mexico for, I think, $10 or 10, I believe it is $10, $15. Don't quote me on that later, but you get the idea, right? So it's yes, we are backed by the continuing education department at University of New Mexico. Do we need a Mac, or we can use a PC? That is exactly what I was telling you, Srabasti. This is exactly what I was telling you, right? So it does not matter, right? So when you are using these browser-based labs, it doesn't matter, right? So whether you have a Mac or a Ubuntu or a PC, it does not matter. We are going to, the labs are going to be launched in the web browser, and this is exactly. I mean, so I've personally trained more than 8,000 people globally, and the company has trained more than 11,000 people, right? So we have seen so many different challenges in learning, and we have removed all those barriers. We want to make sure that people are actually people don't spend time. The learners don't spend time in installing libraries and resolving dependencies. Completely platform agnostic, as long as you have a web browser. And some modern web browser, right? So a Chrome or an Edge or a Firefox, and that's it. That's all you need. When is the online bootcamp coming? Please check out the website. The website has the schedule. If you go on the website, datasciencedojo.com, go under courses, and then some of the courses are here, and we are adding more courses. The courses are ready. It's more about our sales and marketing motion to just come into play at the moment. But otherwise, these are already listed on the website. Okay. Let me see. There is some questions in the chat. Let me see. Yes, Karvindan, I've answered your question. Suresh, building and deploying via pipelines as well. Suresh, I'm not entirely sure, but what we do here is, I can give you an idea. Building and deploying via pipelines. Yes, we use the state-of-the-art tools for we are. I mean, this is a no fluff bootcamp, right? So people are generally they are quite tired by the end of the bootcamp, right? So it is some serious work. We have multiple instructors there, but this is some serious work, right? So you have some work to do, and then we make sure that you do this work. One more thing is, sometimes people actually may get a bit discouraged. Hey, I don't know coding. Notice how effective this approach is. When you click on this, we have had people who had minimal to no coding background, but after the discussion we had, now notice this, right? So all you have to do in a Jupyter notebook, let me pick an easier Jupyter notebook just to make a point here. So all you have to do is run, and run, and run, and keep going. So if you are a technical product manager, if you are a founder, if you are someone who does not need to actually write code, but still you want to understand it deeply enough that you can guide your team, or you can guide the direction of the product. I actually strongly feel we have a product, and we are offering some services as well. I strongly feel that anyone who wants to be a product manager in LLM application space, they must understand all of this, right? So there are so many architectural trade-offs that you have to make, so many cultural trade-offs, too many adoption-related trade-offs. Should we fine-tune or should we do RAG? Should we use a 4K model or a 16K model or a 128K model? And when to use which one? We have built a tool internally, and then we have these engaging discussions, and I've come to this conclusion, right? That you have to be, even if you are a program manager, project manager, or a product manager, or a founder in this space, you have to understand some of these trade-offs. Otherwise, it is going to be hard for you to actually build something that people need. Let me see. Given how quickly technology is evolving, this is a question from Suresh. Given how quickly the technology is evolving and tech is becoming old, if not obsolete, how much of this course is insulated from that reality? It is not insulated from that reality. We are constantly keeping up, constantly catching up. So I think when we started, let me tell you this, right? So in our first offering of the bootcamp, we did not talk about, if I remember correctly, we did not talk about semantic caching. We did not talk about domain-specific models. We did not talk about hybrid search at that time. There are so many things. So in just the RAG space, it is hard to keep up. Even for me, I try to keep up, but it is hard for us to keep up. But we have a big team of engineers who are also contributors to the curriculum and the labs that we create. So as a result of that, anything new that they learn, they actually would incorporate that in the curriculum. Let me actually go through this, right? So this thing, Nebula was not there, domain-specific conversational model. It was not there in the first offering of the bootcamp. Guardrails was there, minimal. we added it later. Evaluation was there very minimally. We actually enhanced the model, enhanced that module substantially. And then let me see. I hope you get the idea. And a lot of, we were discussing RAG and vector databases, but there are a lot of nuances within that that we did not start with it, but we have been constantly updating. Rahul, what is the expected outcome after this boot camp? Um, uh, so Rahul, so you have given this example. Does it make non-AI engineers into AI engineers or non-AI managers into AI managers? Five days seems short, right? So Rahul, I'm known to be a straight shooter to the point. Sometimes people don't like my answers, right? So we are not in the business of making, selling snake oil here, right? So really, the outcome depends upon, who you are, what your background is. I cannot promise any outcome based on without knowing you, right? But go and check out. I will bring up our website here. Go and check out. I mean, we have some of the very seasoned industry leaders. Let me go to reviews. There are people, hundreds of people on camera, more than any other bootcamp in industry, who are actually talking about it. Go check out our testimonials, video testimonials, case studies. These people are all, I mean, there is a never ending list of people who have attended our trainings and they think we are the best decision that they have made ever, right? So go check out, I don't know if you are interested knowing, Microsoft, just go and search. I mean, there are some people who are like really seasoned people in industry who are working for some of the top companies, real people, and I can confidently tell you, go and talk to any of them. These are maybe a few thousand people who have attended, and they will tell you, what they think, right? So David, for instance, he's right here. David actually attended our data science bootcamp, and he actually, according to him, things fundamentally changed for his company. And now he came back to attend our LLM bootcamp all the way from Paris, right? So we are Erica also. She's a returning customer, and then Fahad flew all the way from Saudi Arabia. Right? So you can go and see Bernard, a repeat customer. So just go and check it out, right? So what I can tell you is that if anyone can teach it, well, we are the ones. But whether you will you will turn something non-AI to AI, I am very confident that it should happen. But 5 days seems short, and once you start attending, you will actually realize that it is not. It is very, very intense. You will be busy throughout the week. Will there be a project experience even for online bootcamp? Project experience we are trying to figure out because the courses are actually now, in the in-person experience, we are actually talking about, one boot camp that covers everything that we'll be covering online. But when you talk about the online experience, the problem is that we cannot have a 5 day, 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day training. It's that kind of engagement. It's not going to be there in online. So we have decided to break it down. But when you break it down, where do you do the project? We can certainly, Karmandan, if you can, maybe you should set up a time. Someone, I think, shared from the team, someone shared a link. Set up a time. I'm happy to talk to you, right? So I would like to understand how I can help, right? So happy to talk to you. Then Basit, I have questions. That LLMs are computationally heavy models. If we provide LLM-based solution service to the enterprise and they want a custom model, how to convince them on computation? Is there any reliable solution? Basit, I wish I could answer this in the limited amount of time that is there. And then, because without knowing what the enterprise is, I can't say actually. I honestly don't know whether how to actually answer your question, because a lot of these things are very situational, right? So it is never one size fits all. In some cases, and I can give you an example for one of the customers that we were talking to. Some customers would say we are very price conscious. Others would say, no, I don't care, right? So give me a solution not exaggerating or making it up, right? So one customer I talked to, they said, if you can give me the correct answer every time, right now there is a human actually doing this for me. Think about this, some research and compilation work. If you can build this for me, even if a single query takes 350 up to $350, a single query, a single summarization, because this is what the cost is on their side. Actually, the cost was around $700-800. So they said, if an LLM can give me this much, sometimes you would, and some customers, they would say, hey, I mean, I don't want my cloud bills to be so much. So really, I cannot answer this question. And these are the kind of anecdotes, these are the kind of practical insights, these are the kind of discussions that we have during this boot camp in person or during the training. Let me see. There are more questions. Do you have plans to launch a full online course anytime in the future? Traveling and staying will be expensive for out-of-city folks. I completely understand, and this is why we have this. And then, but at the same time, we also have to consider the product market fit question, right? So how many people would be willing to attend the same boot camp for 5 straight days? Okay, Rahul, you would, right? So I love that, right? I love the spirit of this. But Rahul, what if we broke broke the entire bootcamp down? Maybe you can take them over 5 weeks. So what we will do is we'll rotate. So think about this: that the bootcamp has certain coherent modules. One is, let's say, prompt engineering. One is LangChain, one is fine tuning, one is guardrails and deployment, one is building a RAG, more of the nuances of RAG, and one is transformers and attention mechanism. So what if we broke them down and offered them perhaps, right now the way it is done is that you have a 1 hour, rather 1 day, you finish one of these, then next week, 1 day, you finish one of these. So you can still actually combine all of them. You can still combine them. But doing all of this in a single week, I think our judgment call is that it is going to be hard. And of course, I mean, we have to make sure that there is a sizable audience. But if for those of you who are attending, I was told that we have 300 people in audience today. But if you are attending, and if you think that you would like to do a 5-day online version, I'm happy to do it, right? So I enjoy teaching. I love it. So just drop us a note. And then if we have enough people who would sign up, then we can announce it. I mean, that should not be a problem. It is just our judgment call that we are doing it, as separate courses as opposed to a single course. Okay. Once we finish the bootcamp, and if more updates are done to the bootcamp curriculum, will we get some discount to learn those up? Actually, yes. You don't even have to pay. Don't worry about discounts. Any new curriculum, anything that is added, I mentioned this, that you have access to this learning platform for 1 year. So anything that we do, for instance, Luis Serrano was not actually, we started, Lewis was not there, but later on, you can see that Lewis taught for the first time transformers and attention mechanism, and you can see that when we brought him in, the video was actually uploaded, and so any changes in the curriculum, any new labs that are added, you will have access to them for sure. Then, is there a one-to-one mapping between each section of in-person bootcamp to online? For the most part, yes. Yes, it is really taken from the existing in-person bootcamp curriculum, and then mapped it to to break it down into different components. And Strabasti, And do we get any help in getting jobs? No, we are not a job placement bootcamp at the moment, even if you are in the USA. However, we have helped people, but this is not something that we promise as part of the product. This is something, hey, we get to know you. And then we have a fairly big network. And we may, if someone is looking and if you're the right fit, people have found jobs, but this is not something that we promise fundamentally. I hope that makes sense. Then we have any chance you will have a similar bootcamp in NYC. We have been planning for NYC, but nothing in the next 2 to 3 months. I would attend this bootcamp online if done in a whole week, but right now it is impossible for me to go to Seattle now. Yes, Srabasti, we would love to help in any way we can. And then as soon as we have as soon as we are up to speed on, and we have enough people in this in a 5-day setting, we are going to be we will let you know. Okay. Let me see. Therefore, okay, I think that should be it. Unless there are any other questions, I will probably call it a day. Okay, one more thing. Are the online courses sequenced? I see that LLM for Everyone is scheduled for April, but LangChain is on March 26th. Will it be possible to sequence it in the same way it is done? Yes, you can. I mean, these are going to be repeat offerings. So you can actually sequence them. You can sign up for them and create a sequence on your own, for sure. But we have to, come up with a cadence in terms of, we have our own logistics as well. But for the most part, these are going to be sequenced. Once we streamline the process, they are going to be sequenced. Okay. Sounds good then. I think since there are no more questions, I will end this call. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of you at the bootcamp. Have a great rest of the day.